Welcome back to Carscoops. I'm Steven Rivers, and this is a Lamborghini Urus S. We've been driving it here in Los Angeles for a few days, and before we picked it up, we asked you, what do you want to know about it? Today, we're going to give you the answers. One reader asked, is it worth it? Is this $300,000 super SUV worth the money? And I think the obvious answer to everyone should be, heck no, absolutely not. Think about it. Cars, after all, are really just meant to move people from A to B. And even those that are made to move people emotionally, well, they can do it for a lot less than $300,000. Now, part of that lack of value might have a little bit of something to do with our next question. How many Audi logos are in it? Well, we've only had it for a few days and only been able to look at so many things in it, but we found quite a few. Here are some. Another reader asked, does it make a V8 sound worthy of a real Lamborghini? Well, I don't think I've ever driven anything that most people would consider to be a real Lamborghini, but I will say this, in race mode, it does make a good noise. Now, does it sound like a screaming V12 or even the V10 from the Huracan and Gallardo? No, of course not. But I do think it sounds unique. I do think it sounds interesting. I don't think it just sounds like every other 4-liter twin-turbo V8 out there in some of the cars that this is badge engineered from. But it does bring us to our next question. Someone said, can I order one with a naturally aspirated V12? And sadly, no. Although I think that would be great, and I think it would add a lot to the experience of this being a real Lambo, so to speak. Yeah, it does sound good, but it could sound better. Now, another reader asked, would I buy this or a BMW X6M? Just for the sake of comparison, this has about 650 horsepower. The BMW has a little over 600. So they're similarly powerful, similarly quick, though this is faster in a straight line and probably around a track. But the BMW costs less than half of what this does. I think that kind of makes up the decision for you right then and there. The BMW really is just far more practical in several ways. Not only is it cheaper, but I'm less likely to worry about it in traffic the same way that I worry about this car. Now, of course, if money were no option, I think it's really not a competition. If you're going to have something that's big and brutish and a little bit obscene, the Lamborghini really is the only option in the two. Now, our last question, how quickly does it lose its charm? Ben, who asked this question, makes a good point that over the course of only a few days we can only find out so much, but also that a lot of cars in this realm and that are this new can sometimes feel really sanitized. Having only spent a few days with it, I can tell you it still feels fresh, it still feels fun, it still feels exciting to get behind the wheel and pilot it around curves and down long stretches of road. At the same time, it doesn't necessarily feel as extreme as my brain tells me that a Lamborghini should feel. And it's worth noting that I'm not Lamborghini's target audience, and that I have sort of a rose-colored view of the Lamborghini era where their cars were just as deadly as the bull in their logo. Speaking of that era, though, there is a trick that you can use in this to get a little closer to that type of car. And it might sound a little crazy, but I think the Urus is best used in race mode. You can immediately hear the exhaust get louder, the steering gets sharper, the whole car kind of settles down a little bit. Throttle response is quicker. Everything about it feels more aggressive and more playful and a little more dangerous. Those are all the questions you had for us about the Lamborghini Urus S. If you thought of any more, leave them in the comments below and we'll answer them there. Until next time, this is Carscoops.